let's look at some of the, I would call them weird observations of Herodotus about animals. In histories, Herodotus is kind of talking about everything, basically. Geography, animals, politics, commerce, everything. So you don't be surprised when he touches on different things. So in histories, Herodotus does bring up topic of animals. In the previous video, I did mention about the ants in India that were the size of a dog, very big ones. And he tells us how these ants will bring up gold from the ground, and Indians will go and just collect it. But they will do it carefully because these ants were so ferocious and they were very fast. He also talks about the winged snakes in Arabia, and I did mention in the previous video that these has been used to discredit the story told by Herodotus, because most people are like, there is no way there were winged serpents. There is no way that there were ants the size of dogs. Another another thing about animals he brings up, he does talk about how nature kind of is so organized, and he mentions that through his observation, he noticed that animals that were timid, like were prey, like were food to other animals, often multiplied faster, or they produce a lot of young ones. And meanwhile, animals that were prey, that killed other animals for food, did not reproduce as much. And he found that to be like, it was kind of like a balance in nature, because if the animals that are eaten did not reproduce at a higher rate, then there was always the risk of them going extinct. And if the animals that eat other animals reproduced faster than those that are eaten, then there was a likelihood they will finish everything, and then even themselves they will go extinct. So he says there is this balance. So he gives examples of how that, he tells us about how animals that are eaten, like rabbits, hare, he says that through his research, I don't know whether this is true because I tried to investigate. Here I think Herodotus was likely wrong. Maybe I'm also wrong. Maybe somebody else has some info, or maybe those animals are no longer in existence. The breed that was this kind. He talks about hare, and he says that through his research, he noticed that hare conceived throughout. Even when they were pregnant, the hare can still conceive. I don't know how true that is. Maybe that is true. If somebody knows that, they can write in the comments, or we should all investigate this. I've never known about this. I don't know how true this is, but it talks about hare conceiving throughout, even when they are about to give birth to a litter, then they still conceiving. I don't know how true that is. He also talks about the lion giving birth only once in its lifetime, and I think he was wrong here, unless he was talking about a breed of lions that no longer exist. It is my understanding, and through some research I've done, that lions give birth many times, not once. For him, he was saying that lions give birth once because when they become pregnant, the female lion, the lioness, then the cub, kind of because of sharp claws, destroys the womb, so that the lioness cannot get pregnant again, cannot conceive again. But it's my understanding that lions give birth many times. So I think it's most likely Herodotus was either he was wrong, or there was a breed of lions that were like that when he lived. Now he tells us about, you remember I mentioned that he noticed that animals that are eaten reproduce more than animals that eat flesh. Now he talks about that even where it seems like that rule is kind of like an animal is not following that rule, somehow that is corrected. He talks about the winged snake again, and he says through his observation, he realized that the winged snake eat other animals and they destroy other animals, but they reproduce a lot. They give birth to many young ones. But he said that is countered by the habit of these snakes, where every male will only copulate once, will mate once, because while they are mating, the female winged snake will kill the male snake. The male snake dies, and so the male will only mate once. So that reduces the population of these snakes, because males are dying. Every moment they go mate, that's the end of them. And he says, and then the female, once they've conceived and the young ones are growing in them, the young ones at some point start eating their mother, and by the time they are being born, they've already killed their mother. So that also controls the population of these animals. So there are so many other things Herodotus talks about regarding animals that might not sound to be, or that might seem so alien to what we know today. And I'm thinking maybe he was not so thorough with his research in terms regarding those topics, or that's what it was, but those animals or those breeds are no longer in existence. Especially now that I was looking around, it looks like him talking about winged snake, and for a long time people thinking it wasn't something that had ever existed, and then there are now these fossils of winged snakes. Maybe he was not wrong, maybe it's just that those breeds are no longer in existence.